All right, it's Tuesday. I don't know if the whole Epstein thing is actually going to tear apart the MAGA base. It certainly has a chance to, and it's certainly enjoyable to watch. But why is it resonating so much with the MAGA base? Going back a decade, they got their sense of moral superiority over the rest of us by protect the kids. It started with Pizzagate, Hillary Clinton in the basement of the pizza shop, and Frazzle Drip, and adrenochrome. And that led to a guy who was a Trump supporter showing up at that pizza shop outside of Washington, D.C. that doesn't even have a basement, Comet Pizza, and he fired off an assault rifle because he was there to save the kids. He was there to protect the kids. And then we saw all the Q stuff start in 2017, and Hillary was going to be arrested. And they built this thing up into this whole global cabal of global elites, all of whom coincidentally happen to be Democrats and left-leaning Hollywood types and corporate Democrat donors who were leading this cabal of child sex trafficking and child SA. And the MAGA base, and Trump was tweeting and retweeting Q stuff all the time. Where we go one, we go all of that shit. His national security advisor, Mike, what's his name, who got fired for and indicted and pled guilty to lying to the FBI, became a total Q convert. And because it's always about the grift, he launched a nationwide arena tour of these events that he still does to this day. And this has been a huge part of their identity for a decade. They are hardwired for conspiracy theories at this point. And, while completely ignoring any and all factual information, including Trump's 15-year friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. They were best friends for 15 years. They lived a mile apart in Manhattan. They lived a mile apart in West Palm Beach. Trump had been on Epstein's jet on multiple times, multiple occasions. Thousands of photographs and videos of the two of them together during that period of time, mentioning each other in complimentary terms in interviews. They just ignore all of that stuff because, and then the focus became Epstein's client list, as though that's a thing. And I don't think it's a thing. In any investigation like this, a huge amount of this file is going to consist of witness and victim interviews done by the FBI. And presumably those witnesses and victims would have named a lot of these other people. And so it's like those interview statements are basically the client list, But because these people are so hardwired for conspiracy theories, and because of, being primed with Pizzagate and being primed with the QAnon stuff, when the focus came to Epstein, Trump's base was 100% convinced that the client list consisted entirely of elected and prominent Democrats, Democrat corporate donors, and left-wing Hollywood types, liberal Hollywood types. And that client list was going to be the source material for mass arrests by the Trump administration and by Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, mass arrests of all these people on the left who were cohorts of Jeffrey Epstein. They have pinned their identities on this in large part for a decade. And then the DOJ puts out a memo that says nothing to see here. There's no client list. There was no blackmail. We're closing this file. We're not releasing anything further. That was done at Trump's direction. Trump made the decision to do that. He hired Pam Bondi to be Attorney General because she would do what he tells her to do. The same reason why he hired Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Marco Rubio, and any other number of people in his cabinet. They do what he tells them to do. It was his decision to do that, not the actions of an innocent person, I would posit. I mean, every single thing that Donald Trump has done and said over the last 2 weeks on this issue have been the actions of the words of someone who knows that his name is all over that file. They've been the actions and the words of someone who knows that he is guilty. And again, his base is starting to pick up on that. I mean, Truth Social, his posts in Truth Social, he's getting comments, thousands of them, from his own supporters saying, man, he looks guilty. He looks guilty. And maybe the wool is coming off of their eyes. Who knows, man? But there is zero chance that this is going away. This has been who these people are for the last decade. This has been, in their minds, their source of moral superiority over the left, because MAGA wants to protect the kids. The left wants to exploit them in the most egregious ways you can possibly imagine. And let's not forget, man, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein and his buddies, they abused hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of young women and teenage girls. They are victims, they are survivors. I can't imagine what this experience must be like for them, having all of this shit dredged up again. And it's on the front page every fucking day. It's on every single newscast. They can't escape it again. Again. I mean, you know, Trump did say one thing right in his Truth Social post on Saturday afternoon. It's like Jeffrey Epstein, this guy who'll never die. And if I was accused of that shit and I knew that my Department of Justice had an exhaustive file on all of this stuff that would prove my innocence, I would not tell my Attorney General to bury it. And I would not tell my base to move on and there's nothing to see here. I would demand its immediate release. You know, last week Elon Musk said that Steve Bannon is in the file, and Steve Bannon immediately went on his airwaves and demanded the file to be released immediately in its entirety. That's consistent with someone who's not guilty of anything. Every single thing that Donald Trump has done over the last 2 weeks has been consistent with someone who is guilty of something. It would be remarkable if, after all of the policies that Trump and Republicans in the House and the Senate have implemented, which are going to completely rat fuck Trump supporters, that they still can't see. It would be amazing if the one thing that actually undoes Donald Trump's presidency is the Jeffrey Epstein file and Trump's friendship and relationship with Epstein. It's remarkable to see it. Again, it's unprecedented like everything else. And I'm really tired of living through shitty history, but we'll see how it unfolds.